Hi friends, how are you all? Hope all of you are going through my videos and hope all of you are reading along with me. So today we'll continue our lesson, a chapter. We'll go down into the dungeon again. Shall we? Do you remember how Dick climbed down the deep well shaft to rescue us? It was exciting. Remembering all the things that had happened last year, it made George long all the more for the next day when her three friends would arrive. I wish Mum would let us go and live on the island for a week, thought George. That would be amazing fun to live on my very own island. It was George's island. It really belonged to her mother, but she had said 2 or 3 years back that George could have it, and George now thought of it as really her own. She felt that all the rabbits on it belonged to her, and all the wild birds and other creatures. I'll suggest that we go there for a week when the others come, she thought excitedly. We'll take our food and everything and live there completely by ourselves. We'll feel like Robinson Crusoe. She went to meet her cousins the next day, driving the pony and trap by herself. Her mother wanted to come, but she said she didn't feel very well. George felt a bit worried about her. So often lately her mother had said she didn't feel very well. Perhaps it was the heat of the summer. The weather had been very hot lately. Day after day, day after day had brought nothing but blue sky and sunshine. George had a healthy brown glow, and her eyes looked startlingly blue against her face. She had her hair cut even shorter than usual, and it really was difficult to know whether she was a boy or a girl. The train came in, three hands waved madly from a window, and George shouted in delight. I'm turning the page. Julian, Dick, Annie, you're here at last. The three children tumbled out of their carriage. Julian yelled to a porter, our bags are in the guard's van. Hello, George. How are you? You've grown. They all had. They were all a year older and a year bigger than when they had had their exciting adventures on Kirin Island. Even Annie, the youngest, didn't look so small now. She flung herself on George, almost knocking her over, and then went down on her knees beside Timothy, who was quite mad with joy to see his three friends. There was a terrific noise. They all shouted their news at once, and Timothy barked without stopping. We thought the train would never get here. Oh, Timothy, you darling, you're just the same as ever. Woof, woof, woof. Mother's sorry she couldn't come and meet you too. George, how well you look. Aren't we going to have fun? Woof, woof. Shut up, Tim, and get down. You've bitten my tie almost in half. Oh, you dear old dog, it's great to see you. Woof. The porter wheeled up their luggage, and soon it was in the pony cart. George clicked to the waiting pony, and it cantered off. The five in the little cart all talked at once at the top of their voices. Tim far more loudly than anyone else, for his doggy voice was strong and powerful. I hope your mother isn't ill, said Julian, who was fond of his aunt. She was gentle and kind and loved having them all. I think it must be the heat, said George. What about Uncle Quentin? Asked Annie. Is he all right? The three children didn't like George's father very much. He could be very grumpy, and although he welcomed the three cousins to his house, he didn't really like children, so they always felt a little awkward with him and were glad when he wasn't there. That's all right, said George cheerfully. Only he's worried about Mum. He doesn't seem to notice her much when she's well and cheerful, but he gets awfully upset if anything goes wrong with her. So be a bit careful on him at the moment. You know what he's like when he's worried. The children didn't know Uncle Quentin was best avoided when things went wrong, but now even the thought of a cross uncle could depress them today. They were on holiday, they were going to Kirin Cottage, they were by the sea, and there was dear old Timothy beside them, and fun of all kinds in store. Shall we go to Kirin Island? George asked Annie. We haven't been there since last summer. The weather was too bad in the winter and Easter holidays. Now it's gorgeous. Of course, we'll go, said George, her blue eyes shining. Do you know what I thought? I thought it. I'm turning the page. would be brilliant. It would be brilliant to go and stay there for a whole week by ourselves. We are older now, and I'm sure mom would let us. So I'll just end it over here. Please go through this chapter along with me, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.